Hey, you. Yeah, you. You smell that? That sweet, tantalizing odor of zero ping and horizontally arrayed fist bumps? That, dear viewer, is the smell of CSGO on LAN. Counter-Strike, ladies and gentlemen, is back. This past weekend, we watched NAVI 3-0 G2 in the grand finals of IEM Cologne, which, for those who may have forgotten, is the first LAN we've had in 16 months. Eerily enough, it was the exact same result as we saw at the last LAN in February of 2020, which kind of begs the question, was the so-called online era really just an asterisk? Alright, so you know what I'm gonna say. Why even make me say it? Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications, alright? Karambits ain't cheap, and your boy's gotta pay the bills somehow. Okay, so for the woefully uninitiated, this past weekend we saw the climactic close of IEM Cologne, the so-called cathedral of Counter-Strike, and the first LAN event that CSGO has had in, like, literally a year and a half. Needless to say, the community was beyond excited for this event. For what felt like an eon, we'd been watching the same regional rivals square off against each other over and over again. And now, finally, we got a chance to see who the actual best team in the world was. And boy, did we get an answer.
Chance.
Oh, the double nades, the double nades.
It's absolutely brutal. Look at the hell.
They're gone.
It's over. It's all over. A 1v5 demanded of Amanek. The impossible. It's not happening. NAVI, that's brilliant stuff.
16 months after their decisive victory at IEM Katowice, the last LAN before COVID, NAVI coasted their way to yet another ESL title in Cologne. The crazy thing is that in spite of how much Counter-Strike has changed in that time, the result was exactly the same. NAVI literally 3-0'd the exact same team, albeit a different roster, in a sweep so clean, it made Sentinels' run in Reykjavik look like a nail-biter. See, I'm hip with the kiddies. I watch Valorant. Sometimes. What this means, of course, is, well, it isn't exactly clear what it means. Is Simple still the greatest Counter-Strike player in the world? Yes. Undoubtedly. Literally even less of a conversation than before.
And yeah, and second, hi haters. I'm here again. This is it. This is it. Cameras, lights, everything. Yeah, just know your place, haters. I'm just kidding. Just write this shit to me next time as well.
Taking into account his 1.51 rating, the MVP medal that pretty much had his name on it from day one, and the 4 aces he racked up, the most anyone has ever secured at a big event ever, this was arguably the greatest individual performance of any player in CSGO history. And that wasn't lost on him.
Both posted up. Fires off a warning shot, and Simple as well does one better. And they're just walking in. Oh my goodness.
One more for the ace, Alex. That record-breaking ace.
Simple to break the record. No one has found 4 aces at a tournament like this. And here it comes, a record breaker from Simple. He takes all 5.
As for NAVI as a whole, are they still the greatest roster in the world, despite struggling at times over the course of the online era? I mean, yeah, it would appear as if they are. In addition to regaining their spot as HLTV's world #1, they clapped pretty much everyone in sight. It does feel as if as soon as it returned to LAN, Counter-Strike picked up right where it left off, which feels kind of crazy. Look, I don't buy into this whole narrative that the online era somehow didn't matter. Like, it was just a blip and the results don't count. I believe that burgeoning, budding rosters like Heroic, Virtus.pro, and Gambit did great things over the past year and a half, and will continue to do great things. The issue is that, given what happened this past weekend, there's no denying that these up-and-comers didn't quite clap as hard as we thought they would. When all was said and done, the Final Four came down to a couple of classic LAN-hardened bruisers, not the onliners. Aside from getting to see Simple smurf on one of his game's biggest stages, we got to see Nico look like a top 3 player again. Astralis dish out some disgusting dumpsterings without device, and Olaf roll back the years one Wandig at a time.
Pre-aiming and toes are spotted. Olaf does respond.
All right.
A 2v3. We can work with that. Oh, he's very loud about this. I'm not sure about this at all. And what is that from Olaf Meister?
Look at the wrist.
Yo!
Like, tell me this beautiful Swedish bastard isn't the GOAT. Go on. Please, tell me. Like, this guy's retired 2, if not 3 times. He just casually rolls into Cologne, claps kids left and right, and then just nabs himself a top 4 finish. Like, what a fucking gangster.
Are you mad? Because I'm not.
Anyway, this is all to say that I have no idea who's going to win the major or whether NAVI is indeed going to go on to win the Grand Slam. I do think that all of these onliners are still immensely strong. It was one event. For some of them, it was their first. Don't be so quick to discount them. Oh, and to top it all off, there was one other nifty little detail that made Cologne a tournament to remember. 'Twas blessed with a Shroudy Rowdy co-stream.
I still can't believe they let me do this. It was so out of the blue, just like, hey, ESL, can I co-cast this? Can I stream it on my stream? After a week of silence, they're like, yeah, sure.
It was only fitting that this should happen at Cologne, of course, since it was in the semifinals of ESL 1 Cologne 2017 that Shroud produced one of the most goosebump-inducing highlights of his career.
Almost looked like Skadoodle had actually come out on top there. What a flick coming in. Shroud getting one another headshot. He's tapping away. Shroud. Can he do it again? He's up to 11 kills and looking for number 12. Are you kidding me? Shroud, 4 kills. Can anyone take this man down?
Now, this was a big move for CSGO. Not only is Shroudy Rowdy coming back to Counter-Strike always a big fat, you love to see it, but it could spell big things for the future of ESL co-streams, since they've infamously been very obstinate about letting streamers watch their events live on Twitch. Of course, if there's one streamer you just can't say no to, it's Shroud. The man's co-streams have done wonders for Valorant, outperforming the mainstream on virtually every occasion. In fact, it's pretty much gotten to the point where it's understood that for English speakers, Shroud stream is the mainstream. Needless to say, ESL granting streaming rights to the Rowdy one was a very intelligent move. The hope is that going forward, they'll allow other smaller streamers into the mix, like Tarek, or that weird bearded boomer who talks about dicks all the time.
Hey, put your dicks away, chat. Dicks away. Zip them up.
Now, whether they actually will, or everyone will just continue to hop into Shroudy's watch party, or if he even does another watch party, I have no idea. What I do know is that both in terms of morale and viewership, Cologne was a super sick event. And, as I'm sure we can all agree, exactly what CSGO needed. Shroud stream peaked at about 94,000 viewers, whereas the official streams peaked at about 840,000, which was more than the last CSGO major in Berlin. You see, contrary to popular belief, there were actually a lot of ways in which quarantine was great for Counter-Strike. Skin prices, for instance, went to the fucking moon. What's more, the player base hit an all-time high and actually managed to maintain it. That said, there were also a lot of ways in which it suffered, or at the very least, stagnated. For as much as we as a community gained this past year, there was also a lot that we lost. Players, casters, community figures. Whether we'll ever get them back, who knows? What I do know is that Cologne was the breath of fresh air that Counter-Strike needed. An ever important reminder that while there is some sense in which CSGO is undeniably back, there's an even more important sense in which it never really left. What was I most impressed with? Oh, Simple, dude. This guy's a fucking animal. It's so crazy. Like, this guy is just, you can watch him do anything, man. He's just like, he's just no gun he can't use. There's no position he can't play. There's no situation that he can, like, he has it all, man. He's a complete player. He's the greatest player. He's nuts. Like, big fanboy. Big fan. Simple. Big fan, dude. Big fan. Huge fan. The day Simple follows me on Twitter, that's my raid boss. That's the last one. That's the final boss. Once the day that Simple follows me on Twitter, I retire. That's it.
I'm a simp.